I've got some big news for you guys today. So the February patch is actually going to finally be making it in February. They're actually going to have the weirdest patch day ever, which is on Monday morning. They've never done this before. And I'm pretty sure it's just because they want to get the patch out before the end of the month, and the month ends on Monday. They don't want to have people sitting there, nagging at them, haha, you got it out in March or whatever, which is good. They're getting it out in February. As for what is in this patch, bug fixes and stuff like that, a lot of combat changes, some balancing to classes and stuff. Pretty much exactly what they said. Although, I've been tracking the situation since the start of February. They haven't really added much else to it since the second to third week of February. So, like, the last 10 days of them working on it, I don't think they really did much more to it. So, I think the last 10 days this month, they've just moved on to working on the projects for March. So, whatever that's worth. But let's take a look at the patch notes together. So this is the downtime post, the official downtime post. I'll link to this. I'm going to link to the other post I'm about to show you in a second. They'll be in the description of this video below the first paragraph. Alexander says, we will be holding downtime February monthly update on, and here are the times, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Pacific Time, and 2 p.m. in Europe. And the estimated downtime is approximately 2 hours. Please find patch notes here. Here are the patch notes. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the middle. February update. It's massive. Let me just quick scroll to show you how big it is. But a lot of it is just bug fixes and little piddly things, and I think some of it even repeats itself. So the most important things to take away from this, bug fixes. That's gonna be like the big giant bulk of this stuff. There are a few little gems hidden in here, if I can even remember where they were. I read this before I went to bed, but I didn't have time to make a video. Basically, AI got big overhauls on their algorithms of how they attack, on damage collision, all sorts of stuff. Expedition AI got a few changes, but the biggest thing is Lazarus, Chartis, got a bunch of changes that, like, either some ways it nerfed him, in some ways it made him harder. Damage increased by 25% across the board. Lots of changes to him. So whichever way, I'm not a big dungeon guy, so I don't know. I'm not sure if it's in totality a buff or a nerf. Probably a buff, not sure. Mutators, I'm not sure what the death-stated timer is, but it's 60 to 45. They made it so curses are always a threat to players of any health pool size, by making it as a percentage of base health instead of a raw number, I guess. And now to the combat. This is the biggest stuff for February. So now you can swap weapons during hit reactions, dodges, traversals, and while using consumables, except weapon coatings. This will not interrupt those actions. There's a 1-second swap cooldown in these cases. Swap buffers will no longer be canceled if you're staggered before the swap can occur. And weapon swaps and attacks can now be queued simultaneously. If you press swap during an attack's recovery, then immediately press an ability key, the weapon will swap at the first cancel frame, and then immediately perform the desired ability. Okay, so hopefully more reliability on weapon swapping, dodging, and blocking. They've shortened the recovery time of all their dodges. Transitioning to movement after dodge should feel more fluid now. Basic attack startups can now be dodge and block cancel up to 2 frames before the active frame. Performing light attacks melee weapon with a melee weapon block and dodge inputs will now take priority over the next light attack in the chain, so you can get out of your attack chains more easily. And then jumping off of low objects won't make you do that thing where you act like you fell from 1,000,000 feet up. And then the 300 focus attribute actually makes sense now. It's when their caster's at 15 mana or less instead of 0 or whatever. So actual proc now. And then equipment load. This is an interesting one. Descriptions have been updated to include the amount of stamina consumed when dodging. To the best of my knowledge, stamina usage was the same for heavy, medium, and light in the past. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought for sure it was 50 no matter what. So this leads me to believe that they actually changed that and made it so heavy armor uses more stamina to dodge than light armor. I have not been on the PTR to test this one, so I'm not sure what to see on Monday. Bug fixes, bug fixes, bug fixes, bug fixes. There's probably hidden gems in all these bug fixes that I just forgot already from reading last night. And then Rain of Arrows. This changes the classes. I mean, it's just so much. But none of this is new. For the most part, all these changes were already on the PTR, most of them at least. The bow didn't really see anything too crazy. The fire staff, fireball hits, the projectile radius is bigger, so it's easier to hit, make a direct hit. And fireballs can crit again. That's the biggest thing. Fire mages are back, basically. Also, flamethrower is going to be the most troll thing in the world. I already have, when people are trying to troll, and it's actually really annoying, they'll just run and follow you, and then flamethrower, and then run and follow you, and then flamethrower, and then run and follow, and it's really funny, but it's also really annoying. Well, now the new move speed's twice as fast as the previous speed, and the accelerating flamethrower perk is going to stack correctly, so it's actually going to be super annoying when someone does that. I don't know if it'll be meta or not, I have no idea, but it's definitely going to be annoying. Great Axe got a bunch of changes. The grab wells totally changed. Now, if you're not CC'd at the end, you can just roll or iframe the damage at the end, no matter what. Kind of silly. And just a lot of changes to things. Nerfs overall, I think. Reduced the damage reduction provided from Enduring Strike from 20 to 12. You know, just nerfs to Great Axe. And then Hatchet. Fixed the on-fire passive are not consistently triggering with hatchets. Add perks with alternate damage sources, so nothing crazy there. Ice Gauntlet got nerfed. The spiky reach, it made it harder that all your projectiles hit a single target with all 4 of the attackers or whatever. And then other than that, just fixed issues. Pylon Burst item perk increased AoE radius to 3 meters from 1, make it a little better. Life Staff saw a huge buff in one area, so the speed of light haste was not not applying if the weapon was sheathed, but the big thing here is speed of light will now apply to all targets in the AoE, not just when allies who are healed. So now you can use it to chase people down. It used to be that if you were chasing a guy who had not fought back, then the speed of light perk on Beacon did nothing. But now what happens is if you use Beacon on someone, everyone in the radius just has the haste no matter what. They don't even need to be healed. They just have the haste. So that's a big buff, especially for chasing people who are running away. And then Muskets got a lot of weird stuff. So, Sticky Bomb's crit damage was not increased when the crit damage numbers would appear. Crits now deal 73% weapon damage. Reduce Sticky Bomb's base damage to whatever, which I don't know. Sticky Bomb was not a problem for anyone. You can actually iframe the explosion. And then, just, I don't know, lots of different changes to little things. I'm not going to go through. I'm not a musket guy. Cooldown increased on stopping power. Ability been reworked, so no longer empowers your shot, but instead fires a special bullet after a short warm-up time that knocks back your target. Basically, stopping power is a knockback now. Can also be hip-fired. And then there's powder burn and power shot. Load shots can now be overwritten. So, you know, if you do one, then you load the other. It just gets rid of the old one. So, sort of nerfs, I guess, for the musket. And then the rapier, they didn't. I thought maybe it's further down in here, but I thought they actually nerfed the rapier, but it's not in here, so I'm not sure. Yeah, nothing, just fixed issues. Sword and shield. So gonna no longer reduce the cooldown reverse stab. It'll still reduce the cooldown of other sword abilities when triggered. The leaping attack portion of the ability now have separate properties. Oh yeah, that's right. They made leaping strike more accurate. I remember reading this from a past one. It's easier to actually hit someone correctly now with it. And then Warhammer, reduce the damage reduction provided from the hardened steel passive from 20 to 12%. And then powering armor break item perk fixed an issue where this perk was applying to all hits for 5 seconds, not just the initial. So this got a nerf. And then like this item perk. And then as for perks, weapon ability perks, updates for 2 perks for specific weapon abilities can be found in that weapons update notes section. Oh geez. There's so much in here. I'm gonna start. You know, perks got changed. I'm gonna link this. You can read through all this if you want to. Now the Void Destroyer in Invasions will just die if both his eyes are destroyed instead of just hanging out. And Cleansing Elixir is moving but not properly preventing the reapplication of debuffs during its duration. So that'll be interesting. So Cleansing Elixir got a buff, I guess, because it apparently wasn't working right. And big change, your players can now access the scoreboard while waiting to respawn. That'll be nice in Wars. That'll be really nice, actually. So OPR got a ton of changes. They fixed a bunch of issues. They reworked the scoring. Damage, dealing damage now increases the player's score. So now DPS can actually get rank 1. Reduce the amount of points for killing players and killing AI. And increase the health of things. Change things. Brutes now take 200% bonus damage from siege. Brutes throw the meatball less often. I'm pretty sure it might be in here. That's what they talked about. Biggest thing though, OPR now gives umbral shards, 100 shards for the winning team, 50 shards for the losing team if you meet the minimum score threshold to be eligible, which thankfully I can't wait for that. Once I'm all done playing Elden Ring and making videos for Elden Ring, my time is going to be playing Lost Ark for 4 hours a day, and then playing New World for 4 hours a day. And that's going to be my job for the next foreseeable future till the next big game comes out. So I'm really glad, because this is something I am really excited about. I love playing OPR, and I want to play OPR in order to get 625, even if it takes like 3 months. That's fine. But that's just a fun way to get it. It's actually one of those things I was talking about. Fun at the end game. Now this is fun at the end game, at least for PvP players. So this is good. It's a good change. I like that. Outpost Rush caches now reward 2 pieces of OPR specific armor and a specific weapon. 15% chance for a piece of jewelry. Let's see. Oh, you also get faction tokens on completing a match. 2.5% chance it'll be named item when you get it. And significantly increase the chance of bumping your expertise from the Outpost Rush caches. And then it rolls off a list of perks for PvP comp. It makes more sense. No more Beast Ward and stuff on OPR. Players can now access the scoreboard while waiting for a respawn. Also nice. So notable fixes. Fishing quest, not really notable at all. War Camp loot PvP faction missions now reset when fast traveling. And then map markers, and nothing seemed crazy to me. Here's something important. Leveling for Arcana weapons, or Arcana, armoring, engineering, furnishing, jewel crafting, weaponsmithing trade skills will now require 10% less XP. And then if we go through here, nothing crazy. And several tier 5 weapon schematics were incorrectly displaying legendary rarity, even though they were crafted epic items. Schematics have been corrected. Reduce the effectiveness. What is the word effectiveness in this? Reduce the effectiveness of fishing bots. I don't understand the effectiveness part. Can you just get rid of them and make them, I feel like we need a clarification on that one. How about removed the fishing bots? I don't know. I don't know what they did. Okay. Interesting. I'll be checking out bots in a few days. I'm curious how the situation is now. They have a situation on the ground. All right. Notable bug fixes. I don't really care about any of that. Maybe there's something in there that I forgot about, but there's just so much to go through. We don't have time to go read every single thing. Create a trade chat channel, and a camp warning to notify you when you're out of range or low on health from no camp or whatever. Something about camps. Added the ability to view players' average gear score, the weapon mastery for 2 equipped weapons, and attribute allocations on the war board. Oh, whoa, though. Hold up. I don't think this one was in a previous one. This is actually so good for... You guys have no idea, because I know like 95, 99% of you guys have never done a war roster. I can tell you right now, doing a war roster was absolute hell. It would literally take like 3 hours to get 50 guys on the board, because you don't know any of this stuff unless you already have it written down in a spreadsheet somewhere and you know everybody. It's also another reason why people don't like slotting random people, is because we have to message them and DM them and say, hey, what's your build? What's your gear scores? Can you show us screenshots? Oh my god, it's absolute hell. So that's a great change. That's been needed forever. The players can now see both progress towards the brute and OPR. Crafting screen should no longer select first recipe if you quickly select another recipe while it's opening. Yeah, that's gonna be a nice quality of life change. Players can no longer put their siege windows during a maintenance window. Trade post UI pop-up when canceling buyers should now correctly show the refunded coin based on the bot remaining quantity. And then there's probably something in here that's important, but I'm just gonna move on. GM chat message are correctly displayed as from a GM. I don't know that I've ever even seen a GM in game though, so we'll see. Maybe they're gonna start doing it more often though. PTR notes. The following notes were added or changed as a direct result of internal testing and play. So they're saying this is thanks to you guys. They're talking to all of you who played the PTR, but a lot of this was already on. But they're saying that they would not have done these things if it wasn't for you, is what they're making the claim. They're making that bold claim. Yellow topaz no longer minimum drop rate. Black gypsum drop rate reduced from minimum drop rate 10 minutes to 5 minutes. Purple 2 minutes to 30 seconds. Gypsum orb to the faction vendor, which can be bought once per day for 7,000 faction tokens. So feeds into that OPR cycle for gypsum orbs. Pretty cool. Aptitude leveling. Smelter crafting gear now drops from tier 3 aptitude boxes. I'm assuming they mean smelting, but I don't know. And then drops of vicious Azalt also drop from armor aptitude boxes. General fixes. Ancient armor plates and metallic thread and cold force buckles are not earnable in game, are no longer incorrectly listed on trading plate. Okay. Could have just made the items that they're used for, but that works too. Remove the option to use umbral shards to upgrade an item when the item is on the ground, but they're still going to make it so you have to get expertise 600 to use umbral shards. Open world with lessons learned from houses. They updated the minimum ban 5% to 0.1%, so you can make the taxes almost 0. And then the maximum ban is down to 1%. And then they're going to add the coin duplication exploit for companies as just a feature. That's just a feature now. Coins get controlling company gets 5 times the coins generated from the housing taxes. So you pay 100, they get 500. Basically, it'll just create coins out of nothing. It's not just a direct wealth transfer like the other taxes. It's going to literally whatever you give them, it'll then create an additional, not 5 times, but 100. If you give them 100, it'll generate 400 coins out of thin air and just give it to them on top of your 100. So coin generation, or the faction tax, property tax dupe exploit is now just a feature. Also reduced the leveling experience curve for fishing by 38%, which is nice. I still have fishing level like 7 because it's just I did not have the time for it. I physically just don't have time. Cooking aptitude curve increased by 30%. Sure, that makes sense. That's fine. It was too easy. Whatever. That's totally fine with me. And then Dynasty Ship Expedition bosses now get the same amount of coin as bosses in other endgame. Umbral shards gained from cast increased from 3 to 200 up to 100 to 400. Nice. And from crafting, 1 to 85 got increased to 25 to 100. Still kind of doo-doo. Not worth going out of your way for. And then expertise bumps are always granted by the first item drop for expedition bosses. The server now teleports 2 times as many people into and out of war, resulting in less standby wait time. Let's see. Reduced... Oh, yeah, this is important ones. Reduce the amount of powerful gemstone dust on mutator orbs from 10 to 5. So it costs half as much powerful gemstone dust to make a mutator orb now. Mutator orbs can now be purchased from the faction store every 3 days rather than every 7 days. Also a nice change. This should just remove mutator orbs as a system, but that's a good start. Alright, and then... players can't get into the spawn in OPR anymore. Level 60 quests in Requad and Shattered Mountain now give gypsum orbs. Increase the rewarded experience side quests from level 10 to 60 by 50%, making them able to compete with the job board a little bit. Also, fast travel is basically free now. It'll have a base cost of 20, no longer adjust for distance and weight. In recall got reduced to 30 minutes. Reduced cost of resetting fast travel on houses from 50 all the way down to 20. So now you guys can move around more freely. Nice change. That'll be fun. I wonder how it'll affect the economy, come to think of it. If I can just hoard... Well, now what they need to do, which they actually said they're going to be working on, is storage. Figuring out storage. Storage is a clown fiesta, the way it works. Combat. Performing melee attack will no longer be displayed before you can sprint again. Wasn't that said above? Reduced players' sliding momentum that can occur after dodging, making sudden change in movement direction. So no more of that stuff where you, like, dodge and then you start sliding away. Like, that was funny. Void Gauntlet got nerfed. Petrifying Scream cooldown from 15 to 25. Orbit Decay, base ability damage reduced from 100 to 90. And Detonation Orb reduced from 100% to 70% damage scaling or whatever. Or just damage reduced. The Rapier, okay, here's what I'm talking about. They don't like the fact that people are using it so defensively. They don't want Great Axe to get good, LOL, Keck W. No, they want it to be a little bit easier to catch live stuff, guys. They increased the cooldown from 12 seconds to 18 seconds on Riposte. And then Evade got a cooldown reduction from 6 to 12. And then they sought the position of 2 different perks that should have an effect on that and make it more about damage and less about defense. And Flesh or whatever, increase the cooldown from 17 to 20. That's the dash. That's the little sidestep, and that's the one where you counter, in case anyone doesn't know. Great Axe, more info about the Gravwell nerf, and but now like it actually tries to pull foes to the center is the catch. So it's more about pulling people together than it is about the damage part of it anymore. And now it puts a slow on them, and also if they're at the center when it pops, they get rooted for 1 second, although they can just iframe it if they're not CC'd, so that's, I don't know. And slow field duration restored to 3 seconds, so they'll last until the... Okay, so basically you have to have a dodge or something to get out of it, but it really, you should still get out of it. Also, trading and sending gold now requires players to be physically near each other. If players are in a valid location, they will instead receive an error message alerting them of such. And several bugs involving characters transferring to different worlds have been fixed. And the dev team video, we mentioned that we would be reducing the logging XP needed to level up this update. This change will occur in an upcoming weekly update. The guys say ran out of time. Also, I think they ran out of time because I think they started working on the March patch when it was almost... I got kicked for AFK. I think they were working on the March patch before they were even done with this month. That's what it seemed like to me based on the pace of the changes that were being added. Speculation on my end, but I have good reason to believe that based on my speculation. But yeah, so this patch looks good. I like it a lot. I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited for this one because OPR makes sense now. A lot of quality of life changes. I mean, I guess it's good they had this month. Will it bring players back to the game? Who knows? All I know is it'll probably bring some PvP players back to the game because now you can potentially get your expertise or your gear score to 625 without doing mutators. That's a nice change. Now I wish they would add ways to do it for gatherers. That's the one thing we're missing here is gather. Oh, crafters are also excluded. Yeah, crafters get it, but it's not. It's kind of a joke, right? You know what? I love to. It's my new thing I like to talk about. I want to see, guys. I want to see fishing competitions. I want it to be that like every day at like 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. or something like that. There are fishing competitions in Windsward or something, or maybe in a different location every time. And you know how fish have sizes? I don't know if you guys know this when you go fishing in this game. They actually have sizes, but they never did anything with that. Make it so you just fish for like, you know, 30 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. And then whoever catches the biggest fish gets first place, and it has like a leaderboard at the end. And then first place gets like, you know, 100 umbral shards or like 300 umbral shards or 500 umbral shards or whatever. And then second place gets like, you know, half that. And then third place gets like 50 umbral shards or whatever. And then, I don't know, that would be fun. That would be a really fun thing. Or I mean, everyone participates, gets like 10 umbral shards or something like that. Just gives you an excuse to go do it or something. That's just one thing I'd like to talk about nowadays. I think would be really fun for gatherers to be involved. Because right now it's kill monsters in dungeons, or PvP, or don't be 625. Which, it's a start though. The PvP is nice. Now there's another avenue, because I'm not a fan of the dungeons in this game personally. I'd like to see gatherers included too. But overall, this patch is good, man. I like this patch a lot. I play New World every day, believe it or not, at least for a little bit. Although right now I'm really busy with Elden Ring when I made this video and Lost Ark. But I do log in every day, and then starting in March, once everything finally dies down with all those game cycles and stuff, I'll probably be playing this game like 4 hours a day or something like that, because I actually enjoy this game, guys. Like, I know a lot of people talking about I have negativity in my videos and stuff. That's because I genuinely feel negative about some of the things I talk about this game. But just want you guys to know, I actually like playing this game still, and I still play this game. I think I have 1,500 hours now. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why I like this game so much. The PvP is good is really what it is. I love the PvP nowadays. But anyway, PvP will be more fluid now. Combat seems more fluid is what I've been told in the PTR. It'll feel a lot better. And some balance changes will make big changes. And then just lots of quality of life changes across the board all over the place. So hopefully that actually works. Hopefully it doesn't break the game when they implement it. We'll see how it works when it gets implemented on Monday. In the past, it would break the game. This is really the test for them, because in the past, it was we're trying to add new features and we broke the game. And that's kind of understandable, barely. But if their whole focus was fixing the game and it broke the game, then that's going to be really embarrassing and a bad look. So we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully, this is like, I mean, this is basically their moment to shine here. Let's see if they can do this patch and it just comes out and like there's almost no new issues. Then that's gonna be a good look. That's gonna look real good on them. So hopefully it'll work out the way. But now you guys know what's going on Monday, February patch. That's gonna be again on Monday at like 8 a.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. in Europe, and that is what you can expect in the February update for New World.